Yo, what's up trainers, welcome back to a new video, and in today's video we're gonna be diving into the Ultra League with another RAYQUAZA video. I made a RAYQUAZA video earlier this season, so make sure to check that one out as well. But there I was running Asian Power, and today we are running Aerial Ace, which is a move where a lot of trainers are sleeping on, if I'm being completely honest. Asian Power was a move where you can just basically one-shot a Charizard, but that's I think the only thing where it comes in really clutch. And besides that, Aerial Ace just gets to basically one-shot the Golisopod Sage Swap, where you can do very well against grass types, against Poliwraths, against, well, anything that's basically weak against flying. And there are a lot of Pokemons right now in the current meta that do have the weakness of flying against them, where just this moveset of RAYQUAZA really shines. Well, in this team I'm using Swampert on the lead and a Charizard as a Sage Swap. Never use RAYQUAZA as a Sage Swap because you can just be hardballed by, for example, a Registeel or anything like that. Use it as a lead or as a closer and you will be absolutely fine. So here in the first match they Sage Swap into that Golisopod and we have the answer for it. We can tank one move as the liquidation is going to be resisted, and here I make some mistakes. Honestly, I don't play the best at the end of the season in general because I just like to meme around, play with other Pokemon, see what works, and well, as I said, meme around is something I like to do, play with stupid Pokemon to get stupid wins, right? So here I could have went for the Breaking Swipe at this point where the HP of my opponent is so low that the Breaking Swipe would have been enough. So that's a misplay. Here we see MP tie them, which is also a huge benefit of RAYQUAZA as it just wins against any type of Pokemon in the Ultra League, I would say, of the CMP tie. That's just why it's also a very strong one in general. And here they decide to hard swap back in, so we can just go for the double Hydro Cannon here, making sure that we also overfarm enough where we will outpace that Golisopod if it decides to come back in later on. So yeah, I'm just gonna go for a slight overfarm, I think, on my Swampert, and then making sure that we outpace that Golisopod. But as I said, RAYQUAZA is just a very strong one, and this moveset is something trainers sleep on, as Aerial Ace just has so much play. And in this earlier matchup against the Golisopod, if I went straight Aerial Ace there, we would have just secured that mid-game matchup, because they probably thought that they would be able to survive a Breaking Swipe, which they can. But no one expects you to run Aerial Ace. Honestly, run it. It is such a strong moveset in this meta, in the Ultra League. And I can't say it enough, but honestly, try it yourself if you have one RAYQUAZA build for the Ultra League. So here they got these Zapdos in the back, so things are looking kind of like scary, but I'm still feeling confident enough to win this game, as we can just come in with the Swampert once again, because they cannot farm us down here because we will reach one move, so they have to throw here, which is fine. And at this point I think they're in a range where we can easily go for double or for 2 Dragon Tails to secure the win, and we do so, and that's going to be a GG. Very well played. So we hop into the next game where we face a Poliwrath, and honestly Poliwrath is a Pokemon I don't really like to see on the lead against this team, due to the fact that it has Ice Punch for my RAYQUAZA, and we cannot really hit them for any hard move except for the Earthquake. So my opponent here makes a nice play by catching it on a Cresselia, which is a bit unfortunate. And here I'm gonna build up a bit more energy to just even up that disbalance that my opponent just created by catching it on their on their Cresselia, I should say. But they are not running Grass Knot, so they're gonna go for the Future Sight, doing a lot of damage on our Charizard here. And afterwards, I'm not gonna play for switch here because we have so much, or my opponent has more energy than I do right now. So I want to make sure that we can even or level that up, right? Even that up. So I'm just gonna let this move go through. They actually get the farm down here, which is a bit unfortunate. So now I'm just gonna go for the farm down on my Swampert, and I'm hoping that my opponent is not going to reach, but they do, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, it's not going to be a Grass Knot, so that's fine. We can take this. Afterwards, they're gonna come in with their Poliwrath, so that, well, gives me the feeling or the thought that they might be weak in the back against a Swampert, right? But they actually, that's why I bait as well. But they actually let this move go through. Now I'm expecting them to go for the Ice Punch here, but that's not going to be enough. So after I've banked an Earthquake, I'm going to swap out. And they actually misplayed it so bad in my opinion. But they have a Venusaur in their back, so this is where Aerial Ace is going to be one-shotting for the first time my opponent here. And Aerial Ace from a RAYQUAZA is just something to be worried about. Honestly, they don't expect it. Now they've seen it. They know they have to shield anything on their Poliwrath. But at this point, to shield RAYQUAZA against resisted counter damage as a fast move on a RAYQUAZA is just basically game over. As we can just go for a Breaking Swipe all the way. And then afterwards they will be debuffed twice. there's nothing they can do. Dragon Tail is going to be doing so much damage where they will be, well, in the reds or maybe even gone by the end of this. And as you can see, I'm gonna go or tapping for the aerial ace, but they just outpace us to the CMP tie. So it's not the CMP tie. And here I'm gonna go for the breaker swipe, basically securing and being, well, a bit of a pussy here, going for the breaker swipe, as I could have also went for the aerial ace anyways, and my opponent knows it, as they decide to let that move go through, because we still had a Quake left on our Swampert, right? GG's. Alright, next game we face a Mirror Swampert. So basically any water type on the lead is tough for Swampert and also for my team. And honestly, a Mirror Swampert, the only thing I really can hope is to win CMP. But as you can see, I'm running a very high ranked Swampert, 0 attack, so I expect to basically lose any mirror fight or mirror CMP against my opponent's Swampert. So I'm not playing into a CMP tie just yet. I will do it on the last one, as I might win that coin flip if they have 0 attack as well. So here I'm gonna throw just before I reach the back to back, and then afterwards I honestly hope that my opponent is going to let this move go through, and we lose CMP. So that's a bit unfortunate. I'm gonna shield up this move just to make sure that we get switched, because having a Registeel in the back or anything like that and your RAYQUAZA is aligned to that is something, well, you don't want to happen, because then it's basically game. Here I'm gonna hard swap back into my, or safe swap into my Charizard, but they run another water type in the back, and this one outpaces me to the move, and Hydro Cannon from a Greninja is something we cannot take. If it would have been a Hydro Cannon from a Swampert or maybe something else, you would have been able to survive that and maybe hit them for a resisted Blast Burn, but right now they have a Charizard in the back, and this is one of the few scenarios where if we had Asian Power we might have still had a chance, but they decided to shield up anyways, and at this point, in my opinion, this game is over, because they will reach one more Dragon Claw after this one, because we can just not output the damage we want to get the KO or secure that KO. So yeah, honestly, this game was over. If we would have saved that shield and maybe gotten that farm down with RAYQUAZA on that Swampert, things would have looked differently, honestly. But I wasn't feeling like they had another water type in the back, seeing that they had the water type on the lead. So yeah, bit of a misread by me there, but I think an understandable one, to be honest. So here I'm not gonna throw it anyways, because I know this game is over already, and that's going to be a GG. Very well played. Alrighty, next game we face a Heliolisk on the lead. So Heliolisk honestly is a Pokemon which we can handle very well, especially on the lead. And I'm gonna go for the Hydro Cannon straight away before they reach a Breaking Swipe, and they can debuff, and now we can easily output a lot of damage on this Heliolisk, getting it low where probably 2 Dragon Tails will also be enough to get the knockout, which is very nice for us. As you can see, we're gonna go for yet another Hydro Cannon before they reach a potential Grass Knot, which is something to be scared of as well. And here, in general, I never do this, but I try to get the snipe. I'm gonna go and safe swap into that RAYQUAZA, and they actually reply with a Poliwrath. So I'm gonna go for the aerial ace straight away, and now look at the damage this does. This is really nice to see, and it actually does a decent amount. I would say that's the biggest amount of damage an aerial ace can ever do against an opponent, where it's going to be super effective damage from a RAYQUAZA. So here I'm trying to go for the farm down, but I wouldn't have reached it. They would have reached another Ice Punch here. So I'm gonna go for the Breaking Swipe, and they actually decide to shield here, because probably Dragon or probably the RAYQUAZA would have been a real threat for their backline, as their best response is that Poliwrath. So here we get the farm down. I'm gonna spam on my Charizard because I know they have the Grass Knot ready, and we actually get that catch. Switch Tyrant just got up and we win this game. I think just basically because we got that catch. They don't have anything on their Heliolisk right now. We can easily go for one Dragon Claw here and then Blast Burn them all the way down. And then they're probably not going to have enough energy to go for double Shadow Ball, because our Swampert is just still so healthy in the back, lurking. And yeah, there's nothing I think they can do here, and that's going to be yet another GG, where that catch was huge, because if we wouldn't have caught that Grass Knot on our Charizard, I think this game would have been a W for my opponent. But yeah, we anticipated and we got that dub. So GG's, very well played, as my opponent knows, as this is not going to KO. GG's, very well played. Hop into that next one, swipe up GG's, all that stuff. Next game we face up, well, very favorable lead for us, but honestly a very tough lead for our Pokemon, for our back two Pokemons. So facing it off right here is something that I really like to see with my backline. I'm gonna go for the Hydro. I'm not baiting for a potential Earthquake because I just want to get this damage off before they potentially swap out or anything like that. And two Hydros will do enough damage where we can actually threaten them. Here I'm deciding to throw in the middle of their Shadow Claw, making sure that they cannot swap out. And as long as we get them to low enough where I can maybe farm them down with either Wing Attack or anything like that, I'm okay. Here I'm probably gonna go and I'm gonna let this move go through. I could have also shielded up and went for another move there, but I decided, you know what, maybe I'm gonna go for the one shield farm down where I will shield up once and then just leave with so much energy. I'm expecting them to have a Golisopod as well, because Sandslash with Golisopod is just a core that you will always, well, once you've seen a Sandslash on the lead, expect them to have a Golisopod as well, and then their final Pokemon might be something like a Tapu Fini or anything like that, but they actually have once again a Skeldalurge or something like that. I can't say that name honestly. Let me know if you got troubles with that name as well, Skeldalurge or something like that. And I'm gonna go for the Blast Burn right now because it just does more damage. And my opponent is about to reach their Shadow Ball after this Incinerate is gonna go through. So I'm just deciding to go for yet another one, as I would have won CMP, but my opponent actually decides to go for the extra, which is fine. And they decided not to shield once again. And here I hope to have caught something. I don't know why I want to catch it, but we actually get the Dragon Tail through, which means that they were gonna go down, but I think they thought of themselves that they might have went down themselves, so that's why they went for the extra Incinerate, because I thought they were at the back-to-back moves there, but because they tapped there, they couldn't click on that move. So here we actually get the Breaking Swipe off before they reach their first Dragon Claw, obviously because we went in first. And now this is not going to be enough to KO. We go for the Breaking Swipe straight away once again. And now this is going to be, well debuff them twice. They have to shield here, but they're in an HP range where one Dragon Tail will be enough to get the KO. And we actually get that dub once again. So I forgot to edit this part out, unfortunately. So we have to wait a bit. Oh, this was actually already the final game. So hope you trainers enjoyed this showcase of Rayquaza. Honestly, I was super excited when I saw this in a comment somewhere on YouTube where someone said Rayquaza actually has Aerial Ace as well, and I was like, damn, that's a really underrated attack, which honestly I didn't know about. And as I said before, in the Ultra League you can definitely run it with Dragon Claw or Breaking Swipe and Aerial Ace if you don't want to use a Dragon Ascent on your Ultra League Rayquaza, which is totally understandable. And I think due to the fact that Aerial Ace got a buff, it is just something trainers can be worried about. So without further ado, hope you trainers enjoyed this video, and I will see you trainers in the next one. Peace.